We believe the next gen technologies are going to be very open source driven, and we're building our company based on that vision. Hashtag ignorance, my friends. Ignorance is the #1 competition to us.
Tell us, I mean, as we go into 2015, what are the new trends you're looking at, and what should entrepreneurs and startups be thinking of?
First of all, glad to be here at Nasscom in Bangalore. What an amazing event. 2015 and beyond, into 2020, next 5 to 10 years, 2025 timeframe, we're looking at, into the next 10 years, decade. We're seeing obviously, sounds cliche, but it's very true. Social mobile, social media turning into social commerce. Mobility is now transcending into Internet of Things, connected devices. That's creating more big data, analytics, but now contextual intelligence behind that with predictive modeling. And that transitions obviously into this need, big cloud infrastructures, which are cost effective, but also agile and multi-platform, multi-protocol to support those trends. And we see among all of those things, open source collaboration between companies and public sector with very strong software defined everything innovation, that everything is moving to a more software-based, software-defined architecture from compute with what VMware did over the past decade. And now with networking, now also storage, like my company, our company, Nexenta, big player in software-defined storage, that any commodity hardware, any commodity system now delivering infrastructure services for customers, deliver better social, better mobile, better big data, analytics, and make better decisions. So those are the high-level trends that we're seeing happening in a big way, and they're transitioning into the next 10 years.
Right. So tell us about building a company like this in software-based cloud storage in a market where there are such big brothers and big daddies around.
Yeah. So the differentiation is we're not just a service, cloud service, but we actually make actual engine. We are not like, do BASF commercials. We don't make the table, we make it sturdier. So we don't make the storage clouds. We actually enable them and make them better. At Nexenta, we call that OpenSDX, open source collaboration meets software-defined everything innovation. So we believe the next gen technologies are going to be very open source driven, and we're building our company based on that vision with a very low cost business model. I mentioned this earlier in one meeting, you heard. You go buy today storage from hardware vendors, which they sold about $9 billion worth of storage for 9 exabytes. That's about $1,000 per terabyte. When you go to the Apple store, and Apple stores are expensive, you can buy a Western Digital drive for your home for 2 terabytes for $59.99 or $53.99, below $60. But at work, you're paying $1,000 per terabyte. It's crazy. So software-defined storage changes that model. So Nexenta is built in this model, changing the industry, making the cost of software so low cost that every company can be their own Amazon. If you want to create companies, they become their own Amazon public cloud service for their own businesses.
Right. So what's the first hurdle that you faced? Or what are the couple of hurdles that you faced in selling this concept, and how did you overcome them?
#1 concern and hurdle and competition is always ignorance. Hashtag ignorance, my friends. Ignorance is the #1 competition to us. So we have to communicate. We need to share our story. I travel literally one day at a city, from Beijing to Shanghai to Nanjing to Seoul to Tokyo to here to Paris to London to Sao Paulo to San Francisco in 2 weeks. Crazy. The reason is we're meeting partners, resellers, OEM partners, customers, and meetings like this with conferences like Nasscom, which is the leading IT conference in India, and having conversations like this, letting the people know. Because we're a startup, we're not spending billions of dollars on advertising on CNN or on CNBC or at Super Bowl, like some of our hardware-based companies are spending the money. We are telling the story, and once the product is being used, customers are using that like there's no tomorrow, because it's an open source technology.
So ignorance is your biggest enemy.
Ignorance is the #1 competition.
Last question. Tell us something about going back from the US, where you were for 25 years, into the beautiful city of Istanbul and setting up there.
Yes. So
what made you do that?
So look, I'm from Turkey originally, which I'm lucky because I have, you know, as Turkey geographically, half it's on Asia, half it's in Europe, so in the West. So we believe in Turkey, we have this core belief. The Eastern traditions and the values connected with the Western leadership and innovation combined. Now the world is changing in the East-West. Now East is moving even faster with innovation, and West also leading with the right leadership and management values. Bringing those things and fusing them is an important way to be successful. The reason there are so many Indian successful business people is because you have the Eastern values and Western education and understanding. And I think in Turkey we have the same belief that fusion is critically important. And that's one of my, I believe, secret sauce for successes for the companies that I'm involved with my partners. Together, we build that kind of a, what I call value ecosystem, bringing East and West together, now also North and South, doing a lot of work in South Africa, in the Southern Hemisphere, in other places like Latin America, bringing a global vision to this innovation around open source and software-defined everything. And I think that's the key differentiator here. What's
one nice place you would recommend one should visit in Istanbul the next time someone goes there? Apart from you, of course.
I love Istanbul. I like Bosporus. The center town is very nice. I like the entire Istanbul city as a whole. But I'll tell you, I have many special places in my heart. I love coming to Bangalore. I love the weather here, the food. I love Pune. I spent some time in Goa. I love India as a whole. Turkey is very similar. Also, I live in Northern California, which is a beautiful place. Right. I just got back from Korea, beautiful city in Seoul. So I'm a citizen of the planet.
Negotiators.
Yeah, exactly. You know, in Korea, in Japan, in China, in India, business people are very smart, very intelligent. They have the best negotiation, education, and for value, creating more value. One thing we talked about earlier, last point, we really believe give to get, meeting customers and partners in all these beautiful parts of the world, but at the same time doing business with them and reaching more customers together. As low cost as possible with the best innovation with open source and software-defined everything all coming together. And hopefully we'll do this again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tarkan,
for
speaking with us.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.